All right, peeps and people. This is a little out of the wheelhouse of saws and cutting trees, but not really. This is a DK2 Power stump grinder. It supposedly comes with a 14 horse Kohler engine. 12 inch, I think my wife opted for the 12 inch cutting head or whatever. It's green teeth compatible, the way I understand it, which the only thing I know about that is, to my understanding, they're maybe a different kind of grinder teeth or whatever, which this is not going to be something that you're going to go out and probably do thousands of stumps with, but I wanted it for the occasional trees. You know, and we'll see how it does. I don't care to spend time on the machine and do a large stump if it takes a little longer than some of the, the bigger ones that has the remotes or the ones you ride on or whatever the case may be. I figure there ain't a whole lot of difference in them other than this one is just gonna cause you more work, more labor intensive work than it would be to have one that does everything for you. But those are very expensive, and I do not have the funds. Well, I mean, I don't have the funds for one, but even if I did, and a person probably could borrow the money or something, but I don't want to spend that much on a stump grinder just yet. I want to see how it goes, and you know, if I could do one stump a day around here, stump grinding is, you know, for an average size stump, 30 inches or a little bigger, I think it's a couple $100, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, 150. But if I could do one of those a day or something, or one of them in about a couple hours, that's still pretty decent money to me. And well, see, I kind of have to see how it goes. I think it's like $3 or $4 a foot, but they go out to like the widest roots sticking up and everything else. I know a buddy of mine had some stumps priced, and some fairly small stumps was going to be a few $100s. So, you know, if I can make a few $100s a stump with this, and it take me, even if it was $300 and it took me 2 or 3, 4 hours to grind the stump, I mean, that's still fairly good money to me, doing it for a hobby. But my wife bought me this for Christmas. I'd been wanting one to try it, and she bought it for me for Christmas, and it got delivered today. So anyway, we're gonna unbox it, and we're gonna see what you get when you unbox it. I see a lot. It might. It might take a little time to do it, but I don't want to let it off. I want to let it out. So yeah, that's what you do. Woo-wee. All right, so I'm gonna finish getting this box undone, and now that I figured out how not to do it a caveman style. And man, my mind gets thinking faster than my mouth moves sometimes, boy. Shoot. All right, so when you get it, it's gonna come like that. I don't know if the engine's on it already or how everything is. I went ahead and put the fuel cap on it. The fuel cap was off, everything was wrapped in plastic just so that it don't get no crap in it. I'm gonna cut off now. I'm just gonna take all this out. Oh, that's already pre-hooked up. So I'm gonna say what it is it's somewhat put together. You just gotta get it working. This has got a key, I guess, for electric start. Maybe this has got the electric start. I don't know. But man, if it does, that'd be cool. I don't think she paid for the electric start. Typically, the electric start ones are fairly high. But maybe it's just got a key on and an option 4. I don't know. I'll have to see. I don't know exactly. I didn't see exactly which one she ordered. I know they have an option for electric start, and they have an option for full start, which it's got a full start, but it's got a key and some wires. No, it's just got a clip too, which it hooks up here, I guess. I don't know. We'll just check it out and see how it goes. And all the cables are kind of pre-hooked up. I'm gonna have to see how this thing does its deal here. I'm going to see for the instruction manual, but I'm hoping it's maybe a fairly easy process. Maybe this flips around and does all that, so I'm gonna have to get it more out, get this box flung out of the way and all that kind of stuff, and see what we're jiving with here. It comes with a tongue to pull it around on like a farm, but the teeth look pretty good. I mean, everything looks it. I mean, you know, it ought to do fairly decent, I think. We'll see. It's raining today, of course, like we've had for the past 2 weeks. It seems like the rain is really working on us, but I'll get everything hoo-bahad and situated, and we'll see what we got here. All right, I'll bring y'all back when I get this, and I'm gonna probably put it together, and I'll explain. I'll just go over how I put it together in a way, and if I run into something hard, then I may show you, you know, something out of the ordinary. But for y'all to sit here and watch me put this whole thing together, or me to do it, you know, it might be a process. So, all right, so I'm back finally. It's been a minute. I've got everything together, and I'm gonna back it up here, and I'll go over a little bit. I've got that figured out in a way, I believe, that we'll try to get it a little more light, is what I'm saying. This don't stay on, but this is your kickstand. Of course, a pin only goes in it. And I read some reviews of people having trouble. You know, of course, it don't have a clutch, so as soon as you start it, that cutter head starts spinning. And you got your kickstand up, so it ain't beating the ground, of course. But I read reviews of where people were saying you have to have 2 people and all this and that to start it. The way I look at it is I'm gonna leave it like that unless I'm gonna leave it for a pretty good while. And this is for off-road use. I probably will never use this. I may use this tongue for something else, but I ain't gonna say I won't never use it, because I may, but to me, you're gonna have to have something pretty high to pull it, and it's not for on-road use. I'll just load this on one of my trailers and carry it to wherever I need it, if that's the case. But you know, I figure you stand back here and start it, kind of hold your tire where it don't rock off the kickstand. It'll go, and then you can just lift it up, and your kickstand's out of the way. So that way you don't have to have 2 people and all that kind of good jazz to start it. Yeah, it's like I say, it's going to be more work than you know, $40,000 or $50,000 stump grinder that's got a remote and got, you know, hang set stuff. But I don't plan on going into just stump grinding business like on, you know, for a full-time job, nor for advertising. I just want to be able to grind a few of the stumps in yards that I cut smaller light trees and stuff like that, you know, just a few here and there. And if it's fairly quick, I don't mind putting in the work, like I said, to make money. If I make pretty decent money, you know, I don't want to be out there for 2 days grinding on a stump, make $100, because that wouldn't, you know, the average ain't that great on that. But, you know, if I can go a few hours, make a couple $100 grinding a stump, because that Bradford pear tree that I cut a while ago, I had a video up, and I talked a little bit about what they charge, but a company out of a little bigger town than where I'm from, which everything's higher there, cost of living, just everything. Property tax, you know, everything's higher in that city. It's you know, a bigger like town, city, or whatever. And they was going to charge $900 to cut the tree and grind the stump. Well, I cut the tree for, I think, $450 or $500. I don't know for sure. Cleaned it all up, hauled it all off, and all that kind of good stuff. But they had another guy local come in, and I think he was $300 on that stump. And it was a Bradford pear stump. You know, I don't know how long it took the gentleman to grind it. Not very long, the way I understood the guy. But you know, that was that. You know, that was extra money that I lost out on not being able to do like trees like that. And you know, it probably at the bottom, it might have been a 2-foot stump. Everything that had to be ground, maybe a little more because there were some roots on top of the ground. But you get what I'm saying. He was $350 or $400. So really, well, maybe no. He was $300, $350. So they saved about $100. You know, charging out. But if I would have got the stump, I might would have been able to do it all for like $700 or something. And to me, that's still fairly good money. So I'm not going to get it just, you know, go wearing out things. And I might if this thing does pretty good. But I want to be able to, you know, like that last tree I cut, the little danger tree, it wasn't very big. You know, I could grind that stump out fairly quick. I'm thinking I'm going to test it tomorrow evening maybe on some stumps around here that I've cut some trees and whatnot. And I'm going to see how it does. I've watched videos on them and they're not terrible. They're not terrible as far as time. I think I watched a guy do a 30-inch stump and it took him like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, which it was a softer light tree. It wasn't a hardwood tree. But still, that ain't terrible. Maybe even if it was an hour, you know, for a 30-inch stump, I can live with that, you know. And, you know, I may start out, I've heard pretty good luck. I've heard on the internet that these people have the best customer service that there is. And I kind of can believe that. I've not had any problems with it. When we ordered it, it was supposed to come with an extra set of cutter teeth because the cutter teeth are like $160 or $75 for this particular machine, and it was supposed to come with an extra set, and they wouldn't in the box. And you know, you've seen the box that it come in, and so my wife called. They had already been closed for an hour, but a lady still answered, and she said, if you don't care, just call back tomorrow when we're open. She said, we've been closed for about an hour now, and she said, call, get a hold of customer service, and they'll send you some right out. And I seen a guy on the YouTube I watched because, and I'll get into that in a minute, but I had a question about this that wasn't in the manual, and he said that he's had not a whole lot of trouble, like one kill switch was messed up or something, or messed up after he had the machine a while. The second one was something else small, and the third one, the bearings finally went out, but he done used the machine a while, like quite a bit, and everything they sent him for free, no cost of shipping, nothing. They just, no questions asked, they just shipped it. He said they had the best customer service of any company that he'd ever dealt with, and he was not sponsored by them. So I'm hoping that's the case. I can't speak to it as of yet, but I guess we'll find out when it comes to these cutter teeth and if I have any trouble with this. But this has a 14 horse Kohler engine on it. I think it holds like 1.16 quarts or something like that. I put a quart and just a fuzz in there, and it may be actually a little bit too much. You'd probably be all right with about a quart. But this supposedly has the safety switch or safety shut off. If you get too low oil, then the engine will not run. It'll shut itself down. So if you have one of these or get one of these and you have that problem that you're running and all of a sudden it shuts down, you're probably out of oil. We run a lot of generators and a lot of machines similar to this where I work, roof cutting saws and buggies that haul material, and trash buggies that's motorized, rock buggies that's motorized on roofs and whatnot. And they have smaller like engines like this, and they're the same way. If they get low oil, they just shut down. So, and they do fairly good for what we want. This thing is real similar to our roof saws at work that we use to cut up asphalt roofs, old asphalt roofs when we're tearing off or whatever. It's real similar to that. So I'm kind of familiar with this setup in a sense. But anyway, it holds 1.16 quarts of oil. It's double belt driven. You adjust it by these. And the reason why I watched the video is down here on this, the shaft that this cutter head is on, it's got these two like not bolts, but like U-clamp things or U-metal pieces, and it holds the rod and the bearing in there, two bearings. And the bearings look sealed to me, but they had zerk fittings, and so, or grease fittings for people that, you know, I just learned that there's zerk fittings not too long ago, and I think that's pretty cool, so that's why I say it. But anyhow, it's got fittings to grease, and I wasn't real sure how much grease to put in it, and I wasn't 100% sure that they were sealed bearings, but they look like they're sealed to me, or if not, at least got like dust covers on them, and I didn't want to put too much, and because sometimes on them sealed bearings, if they're sealed and you put too much grease, over grease them, if they do have the zerk fit, and you blow the seal out, and then you've done ruined the bearing. But I think these are just kind of plastic cap dust cover deals, because honestly may have put just a little bit too much grease. I've seen a little bit squirt out the side, just a very minimal amount, like I wiped it off with my finger and it didn't even cover the tip of it. So I stopped, and we'll see how it does. If not, it's, I think, got a fairly good warranty. I'll just call and get more bearings, or if not, I have to buy them. You know, if I screw something up, it don't bother me to buy them as bad as if they just fail. But I don't think I over greased them, because none of the caps popped off or nothing like that. So I did go through, if you do get one of these, it pretty well comes pre-assembled. All I had to put on was the, I'm gonna back y'all up a little bit where you can see me yet and everything. But all I had to put on was the handlebar and the bracket, or I guess the axle that the wheels go on, and I had to put the wheels on that axle. And that axle has a dust cover or chip cover for the back, but I had to put all that on, and I put this on, and that's it. Everything else was ready. Only other thing I did was right down here, you wrap them throttle cables around, and there's a little wire like U-shaped thing, and you just get that ready, and you just get it ready. You just put this down in there, and then it's like this. You shove the wires down in there. The top's a little long, and then you just loop it around there, and that's what holds these wires and the throttle cable. So really, it ain't been that bad. The longest trouble I had was I had to go buy a new grease gun. My old one got broke, whatever. But the biggest trouble I had was getting my dadgum new grease gun to start pumping grease. That was like a 30-month ordeal, so I don't know what was wrong with it, but it finally started working. But if I've got to do that every time I put a tube of grease in it, we'll be soon taking that back or getting another one. I may gift that one to somebody. Just kidding. But all in all, it seems like it's a fairly well-built machine. I did go through, and I don't know if when they put this, and that's what I was getting at, I put these two things on, and everything's got lock washers on and like lock nuts, pretty much all the important components. These little shields and stuff I don't think has lock nuts or whatever, but I had to go through, I didn't have to, but I went through and checked all the bolts. And some of them were kind of loose feeling to me, but they might have torqued them to spec, I don't know. So I tightened them up some to where I felt kind of comfortable with them, to where I felt like it wouldn't fly apart the first time I used it. And I tightened them up pretty good, and I pretty much had to tighten everything up. Had to tighten the motor bolts up, which when you go to, this is what adjusts your balance. You have to loosen the 4 bolts up that mounts the motor to the frame of this, and then you turn these to get your adjustment, then tighten it, nuts up to back that up, make them tight. And I checked my belt tension, it seemed alright. So I just went over the whole machine in a way and just checked everything to make sure it just wasn't terribly loose. Some of the bolts was fairly loose, like not even run up all the way, you could say. And like the Zerk fittings or the grease fittings on that bearing, I had to tighten them up. They were so loose that they were spinning when the grease fitting on the gun went on it. I could turn, move that, and the whole Zerk fitting would move. So I don't guess I had to tighten them up, but I did tighten them up. So if you get one of these, just go over everything and tighten them up. And the reason why I thought about that is tighten them up is, of course, before I buy anything, I do a lot of research, a lot of studying, a lot of YouTube watching, and all that kind of thing. And there was a guy said, you read comments and whatnot. A couple of them said, well, I had some bolts jar loose. And one guy said, I haven't had any problems because I went through and took every bolt loose and put Loctite on them and then retightened them. Which I'm going to say this thing gets a little bit of vibration, not for sure. And, we'll just have to see. So what I'll do is probably grind the stump or do half of a stump. And I'm going to keep some wrenches on it that I'm going to need. Like I've got my filter zip tied here with a little bitty carabiner that puts the oil in it. I'll keep it handy right here on the machine. That way, if I need to get oil and put oil in it, it'll be right there. And I may do a couple of wrenches like that too that uses, because you can do all this. It's about 3 different sizes. It does about every bolt on this. I think 11/16 is one of them, and then 12 or 13. And then the big one, maybe I don't know, 19 or 3/4, something like that. But it's, or I don't know, 13, 16. I can't remember. But like 3 size does it. And I've done kind of cleaned everything up. Does that. But so that to me, I'm pretty happy with that Kohler engine. It's pretty good size engine for this, I believe. And it comes with an hour meter on it. They kind of look like the little Proline tachometer things or whatever. Kind of looks similar to that, maybe an off-brand or whatever. And it comes with goggles, hearing protection, and gloves. So you'll be ready to go when you go to grind. And I'd say this thing's pretty loud. These earphones don't look like much function, but they seem to work. They keep noise out anyhow. They ain't, they're not top of the line, but they'll work. So that's pretty cool. Yep, deaden the sound some. And then you got your goggles, so. They even got plastic on the inside so they don't get scratched up during shipping. What are you talking about, boys? What? What do you mean? Oh man, them's nice. Yep. A little froggy, but guess they'll work. might use them when I grind, because I still get stuff in my eyes after I grind, even though I'm wearing safety glasses sometimes. So, shoot. Oh, no wonder they're blurry. It's got plastic on the outside. I was fixed to say it looks like a cloudy day is what it looks like. That's a little better. Anyhow, enough for the horseplay. But anyway, all in all, I'm pretty tickled with this. I'd like to go get some gas to fire up. Of course, it's raining like cow pissing on a rock, so I'm not going to go out there and fight the rain. And it's dark now, I'd say. I don't know how long we've been down here. Oh yeah, she's dark. But oh no, that's the way I'll do it. I'll leave that up when I go start it and just pick that up. And that way I ain't gotta have no way to unbolt it. And then if I get ready to shut her down, or don't want my cutter head, I will. The first time I start it, I'll probably leave that bolted in case it get a little carried away, just to see how it does and everything. But all in all, I think it's fairly good. May somehow mount my little toolbox here, just to put it somewhere on here, just so I can keep some tools handy. These sizes, it ain't gonna take a lot. Like say 3 sizes about fits it all. I've got the wrenches here. Maybe it's a 17. No, that's too big. Five eighths fits the motor bolts. 17 or 11/16, probably 11/16 is better on the adjustment deals, and a little bit probably 15/16 on these right here, I'd say, because this is a 3/4 and it's a little too small. So, and then this is a I think a 12 or a 13. The 13 fits it better than a 1/2 inch, whatever the metric is for a 1/2 inch. Because I had a 1/2 inch on it, and it's a 13. So I lost my 13 socket somewhere. Where the crap did that thing go? So, but anyhow, that's all I'm gonna do on this.